All right, so number 3 on the homework tonight is a little bit more challenging than number 1, only because the total in the problem is not a multiple of 100. So I'll show you a couple ways to do this problem, but for me the easiest way would be same type of concept as number 1. We would take the percent and put it over 100 equals, remember anything following the word of, if it follows or is right after the word of, we're going to look at that as the total. That's always the total. So we have our part over here and we have the whole, right? 15 out of 100 is the percent. We want to know what is 15% of 240. I think the hardest part, no pun intended, about this problem is it's, like I was just saying, it's not going to jump right from 100 to 240 like it did in the last problem. So we have two options. We can either cross multiply the two we have and then divide, that's the butterfly method, or we can reduce this fraction and see if we can get it to a denominator that then would go into 240. We did that in chapter 1, that's called scaling. So I'll show you both ways. If we cross multiply, we're going to do 240 times 15. That's the cross multiply. 5 times 0 is 0, 5 times 4 is 20, here are the 2. 5 times 2 is 10, plus 2 is 12. Cross these out, drop the 0. 1 times 0 is 0. 1 times 4 is 4. 1 times 2 is 2. We add these together. That's going to be 0, 0, 6, 3. So 240 times 15 is 3,600. That's the multiply, cross multiply. Now we have to take the number we got and divide it by 100. Remember, when you take a number and you divide it by 100, you take where the decimal would be, and you move it back 2 positions to the left, and that's dividing by 100. So if you move that back, you're going to get 36. So 36 would be 15% of 240. That's called cross multiply and divide, or the butterfly method. I'll show you one more way to do it. If you set this up the same way, 15 out of 100 equals x over 240, you could reduce this fraction. So I know that 5 is the greatest common factor of 15 and 100. If I divide both 15 and 100 by 5, you're going to get 3 over 20. That's still 15%, it's just the reduced fraction of it. But now you can see that 20 goes into 240. I would times that by 12. 20 times 12 is 240, so I would times 3 by 12, and 3 times 12 is 36, just like we got. There is actually one more way to do it, but this would be the calculator way. The only other option is if you had 15%, you could make that a decimal instead. And then you could times that by 240. You don't necessarily need a calculator to do that. If you had a calculator and you type that in, you'll see that that does equal 36, or you could do 240 times 15, and you're going to see equals the same thing that we did before. That's going to equal 3,600 if you were to do the math out, and then if you divide it by 100, it will be 36. So that's actually 3 ways to do it. It doesn't matter which way you do it. It says choose any method to solve.